Hi everyone, MrCanadianDad here again for another review of one of REACTOR's latest watches, the Graviton 2. I'm going to break this review into two parts. The first part we're going to talk about the standard features of the watch. The second part will go into the functions of the watch in detail. Those of you that have bought REACTOR watches before know that it comes in a really cool dual-purpose case that also serves as a drink holder once you're done with transporting the watch. I've had this watch now for a month and I've worn it solid since I got it, just to be able to know as much as I possibly can about the watch and to give you a full review. This watch is rated to 200 meters or 660 feet. The case diameter is 45 millimeters. The thickness is 17.4 millimeters, which makes it one of the thicker watches that REACTOR has. It's not as thick as the Poseidon. The weight is 210 grams with the metal band and about 185 to 190 grams with the rubber band, which is what I have. The width at the lugs is 33.3 millimeters. The width at the clasp is 22 millimeters. There are three separate models of the Graviton 2 watch that are on the market. There's a stainless steel one, there's the stainless steel with black nitride watch, and then of course the stainless steel with the rubber band. The rubber band that is on this watch is the same one that comes with the Poseidon. It has the logoed retaining clasp that I really like, and I think it works very well. It also has the 120 click bezel that is very tight tolerances, very difficult to turn, so you don't no worries about slipping out of a location once you've set it. The Graviton 2 comes with the standard REACTOR DNA that we've come to know and appreciate on the REACTOR watches. First of all, it is made of 316L stainless steel. Everything, including the 4 function buttons that I'll discuss later. I thought these originally were titanium, but they're not. They're actually stainless steel. They're just a sandblasted finish. It has the triple seal screw down crown. It has the solid screw bars that connects the watch band to the watch body. It has the Swiss Superluminova coating on the analog hands, the pip, and the markings. It has a forged case back, which adds to the strength of the watch. It also has the K1 hardened crystal, which is a little over 3 millimeters thick, compared to the Poseidon, which is 4.5 millimeters thick. It has a free-floating band that fits all wrist sizes and is very comfortable. It has a single quartz crystal that drives the analog and digital functions of the watch, which will give you perfect dual time synchronization and also enables a single battery configuration. The battery, by the way, in this watch is lithium ion. It's rated at 18 to 24 months. If you turn off the LCD face or the LCD screen, you can actually extend that period past 2 years a little bit. It comes with an electroluminescent backlight. By pushing this button here, you get to backlight on the watch. And similar to the heavy water watch, this watch is programmed for 275 North America and Pacific locations through the year 2020 AD. That is over 2 million individual data points that are saved in the watch. You can also set the offset on the watch plus or minus 180 minutes so that you can program it for a beach that's closer to your location. Now we're going to go more in depth with the functions of the Graviton 2 watch. A, B, C, and D, and they all serve a certain purpose on the watch. Button A invokes the electroluminescent light, as I already mentioned. If you hold it down, it also enters set mode, which allows you to change several functions on the watch. Button B is the mode button that toggles between different modes of the watch that we will learn about today. Button C is the start-stop button. As well, it will toggle between 12 and 24-hour time formats. And if you hold this button down, it will also turn on daylight savings time. If you watch, you can see that it's shifted an hour forward and turn on DST. Button D is the button that you press to reset in like the chronograph function. It also allows you to toggle the hourly chime on or off. And if you hold down the button D, you'll also be able to turn the LCD screen off altogether, which is quite attractive. And then you push any button, it will turn the LCD screen back on. Buttons C and D also allow you to advance your settings once you're in the set mode. So in order to change the time and date, we will push and hold button A, which will enter the set mode. And as you can see, the hours flashing. We push B to move from hours to minutes and minutes to seconds. And if we want to adjust them, we push either C or D to advance or reverse. Push that to adjust the year, then the month and day. Push A to get back to home screen. Let's take a closer look at the LCD screen to see the data that's displayed on the screen. The top two lines are the next two upcoming tide times that are available and the tide heights in feet. So you have high and low, or low and high. The next line shows you the moon phase that you're in, whether you're waning or waxing and waning, whichever. And it also shows you the direction of the tide, whether it's increasing or decreasing, and the relative height of that tide compared to what the tide report is. You can see that this is decreasing. Then we have the sunset time being displayed, 4:15 today, the sun will set. The next line shows you the day, Friday, 12th month, second day. And then the last line shows you the time, 1:49 today, and then PM or AM displayed on the left. If we push button B, we can enter into the different mode. This is the tide mode. It shows my home tide as Vancouver. Since I'm in Canada, that's the closest beach to me. While in this mode, if you push button C, you can display the next two tide pieces of data. As you can see, there's some missing data there, toggling between the two. If you push and hold A, you can enter into the set mode, which will allow you to change the tide locations. In this mode, you can toggle up or down by pushing C or D. And you've got 43 countries, states, or islands to be able to toggle through, anywhere from Alabama to Washington alphabetically. Go back to Canada. Pushing B again allows me to choose which beach I want at that location. So in Canada, I've got choice of Blundell, Halifax, Prince Edward Island, Quebec City. I'm going to choose Vancouver since it's closest to me. And then I can adjust the offset here if I want. If I'm at a beach just north of Vancouver Beach, I can set the offset up to 180 minutes or negative 180 minutes to get a closer reading from my actual physical location. While in the tide mode, if I push D, I can cycle through the available Beach 2, Beach 3, or Beach 4 locations that I can store in the watch and toggle through. One important distinction to remember about this watch is that when you're in the home screen, the top two lines show you the next upcoming two tides. Whereas if you're in your home beach mode, it shows you the high and low tides for that specific day. One other thing to note is that, as you can see from the home screen, it shows me that my sunset time is 4:15. But if I toggle to my home beach mode, tide mode, it shows me that my past sunrise was 7:47 in the morning. Pushing button B again will get you in the chronograph mode. If you push C, this will start or stop the chronograph, and D will reset that chronograph. If you push D while the chronograph is running, that will give you a split time that will show for a few seconds and then return back to your chronograph timing, where you can then stop your chronograph and reset. Pushing B again will get you to the timer mode. You have 3 timers that you can choose from. You've got countdown start, countdown repeat, and countdown up, and it shows you here which one you're set to. Pushing D will cycle you through those different timers. I've set them up here for the purposes of this demonstration. So I have one set to each. In countdown stop, if you push button C, that will start the countdown. I've got it at 5 seconds. And it will chime when we're done there. If we go down to countdown repeat, I push button C, I'm counting down, and it will continue to count down at 5-second intervals, and it will track how many times it's done the countdown repeat function. To stop, push C, reset, push and hold D. Go to the next timer, countdown up. So I'm counting down from 5 seconds, and then as soon as I go to 0, it will begin to count up and chime while we're doing that to let me know, and then I can stop the time after at whatever point I need, and then reset. Oh, stop and reset. Pushing mode button, again I get into alarm modes. I've got several different alarms I can use. I've got 2 alarms. Pushing D allows me to cycle through those alarms. Alarm 2 is set for 7:30, alarm 1 is set for 6 o'clock. Notice the AM or PM designation on here. You can cycle and turn the alarm on or off by pushing C. See, it goes on, off. You can enter in this mode and set it by once again by pushing A, which will enter the set function and allow you to cycle or rotate, change that alarm. Pushing A again will get you out of that, and then I'm going to turn it off. As usual, I want to share some observation and interesting facts about the watch with you. I've worn this watch solidly for the last month, and as you can see by the watch, there are no nicks or scratches or signs of wear, hardly on this watch at all. A little sign of wear here on the watch band, but it's extremely durable and resistant to any scratches or dings. It's very comfortable to wear all day with all types of clothing. It was inspired by the Neutron line of watches that has a little bit of the classic look to them. As you can see, the Neutron line, it's starting to look a little bit more like that line, this Graviton 2, as compared to the Graviton 1 line of watches that were distinctly different. This watch is designed specifically for saltwater fishermen, boaters, and I would also add surfers who want to know tide information and moon phase data. There's no temperature sensor on the watch, which is, I think, a bit of an oversight. It would be nice to have a temperature sensor, but who knows, maybe there's not room enough in the internals for that. I've mentioned that to Reactor, and maybe they'll add that on a future version. One interesting thing to note about the watch is the very first day that I got it, I turned off the LCD screen and had it off for about 8 hours, and then when I went to turn it back on, the watch went into reset mode and completely reset all of the functions back to default, which was 2001. I've mentioned this to Reactor, and they said that that is a known bug, and they are probably fixing that on future models. There are 2 ways to actually reset the watch. One is to take the battery out, which not many people are going to do, and then the second way is to hold all 4 buttons down simultaneously. This watch attracts a great deal of attention. I've had it on my wrist for a month, and I've had 3 separate people actually say that they would like to know where I bought it because they'd like to buy it for a family member. If you have any questions or comments about the watch, please leave me a comment at my video, and I'll see if I can respond to them when I get some time. Thanks.